Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. So in this video, we will go over Lab 8A. It basically just has two questions. So let's see how to solve the first one. I will be solving it here itself on Moodle instead of in NetBeans. So let's read the question. It says the program below works. You can copy and paste it into NetBeans to run it and understand what the program does. Consider how you can modify it so that it makes use of methods and rearrange the code so that it now uses methods. Your modified program should have 5 additional methods as follows. Public static void process choice. So that's the first method that you should have among the 5 methods. And this method, it displays a menu of 4 choices and read the user's selections. And then invoke the method corresponding to the user selection. The do addition method, it basically asks the user to enter 2 numbers and adds them and prints out the result. Similarly, do subtraction would ask the user to enter 2 numbers and it would subtract them and print out the result. Do multiplication will again ask the user for 2 numbers. It will multiply them and print out the result, and same for do division, which will ask the user for 2 numbers, divide them, and print out the same result. So these are almost the same. The operation is the one that's different from among them. But process choice, it displays a menu, and then you ask for the user to choose from that menu, and then based on what the user has chosen, um, the corresponding method should be called. Let's see how that works in a minute. Now here, there's a note that says it is recommended to transform scanner variable scan, which is here, as um, as a global variable for you to use to read data from user in each of the methods. So this means instead of creating a scanner in each method, because all these methods require input from the user, right? Here also you read from the user, here also you ask the user to enter numbers, similarly for all of them. So instead of creating scanner within all the methods, you just create a global scanner. The only difference is you just add the word static before the whole declaration and initialization, and that would make it a global, what's it called, variable. All right. And when you want to create a global variable, you have to move your variable or object out of all the methods. So it will be within the class, which I will show you in a minute. But before that, I will copy the whole code, and I'll put it in NetBeans, and then we'll run it to see what actually happens. Or maybe if we try it here, with okay, because there's no pre-check, let's put it in NetBeans and then see what happens, how it runs, and then that will give us a better idea of how to code it. Okay, so here I've pasted all the code from the code runner that was there, and let's try to run it to see what actually happens. And that will give us a better idea of what is actually happening within the code. So when I run this, it says, welcome to Unit 8 Lab. You will have 4 opportunities to choose what calculations to do. Opportunity 1. So this is the first opportunity that I have. I need to pick any one of the like operations or calculations. So let's try to pick do an addition. This is where you have to enter your choice. So I'll pick 1 because I want addition to happen. And I'll give it 2 numbers. So let's say I give it a very long number, another very long number. And it says the sum of this and this is basically this. And then it gives me the second opportunity. All right. So here, again, I can pick anything. Let's pick 4. Okay. And let's divide 10 by 3. Let's see what happens. It's 3. So again, we notice that all of these are integers basically, because 10 by 3 should have given you 3.333, but because it gave me 3, so Um, maybe it's an int yeah, okay, just because it's mentioning here as well an integer division. So that's fine. Again, the sum of integer, okay, this should have been changed. It should be the integer division of so and so is the value. Okay, now this is my third opportunity again. So I will, let's say, choose subtraction and I will give it a number. So the result of subtracting is this, subtracting this from this is this. And then lastly, it's printing for me, this is your last chance. And now let's pick multiplication this time. Multiplying this and this gives this number. Thank you for using this program. Goodbye. So once all my 4 opportunities are done, meaning the 4 times asking me what calculation I should do, once that is done, I should print out, thank you for using this program. The good thing about this question is everything is coded. All you need to do is move it into the correct places according to the question. All right. So I think let's try to do it here. I will just copy the question here and then we can paste the correct answer back in CodeRunner. Okay, so let me close the output. Let's add the question here. Okay, and let's move it around so it's readable. Okay, now this is my class. The first thing that I would want to do is basically create that static scanner that they have mentioned so I don't forget about it. Now I already have the scanner within the main method, right? They want you to make it as a global variable so that you can access it in all the methods, right? So all you have to do is copy this scanner, okay? Or you can just move it and move it here outside the main method. So right after your class where it says public class and your class name, you need to uh, have your scanner and don't forget to write the word static. That's it. That makes it a global variable. All right. What I did was the scanner was in the main method. I moved it outside the main method so that it is within the class, and I just added the word static. That is it. All right. Now, um, if I scroll to the very bottom of this code, I already have, here is where my main method ends. So you can see when I click on the bracket, it shows me that it's from the main, if you notice it. Um, and after the main, I have 4 methods. Process choice, do addition, do subtraction, do multiplication, and do division. Now, uh, you don't have to change any code except for the static. Now you just have to move it around. So if I notice, let's see, let's complete the easier parts first. I want to know whether I want to know where addition is happening. All right. So what I'm going to do is probably um, find where it says the sum of the. Okay. Before that, it has all these other things that we're supposed to print out. But okay, if we notice that it's printing out the first welcome stuff, and then it says opportunity number 1. It says, sorry, do addition, do subtraction, all of that. And then it says system.out.print line. It asks for the choice. If the choice is between 1 and 4, sorry, if it is not between 1 and 4, meaning if it is less than 1 or it is greater than 4, then you have to print invalid choice. You wasted an opportunity. Otherwise, you check if the choice is 1, you're saying print, um, enter first number, value first number, and then enter second number, value to second number, and then you're adding the result, and then you're printing the sum of val1 and all of that is this. So I think that this section is basically doing the addition because here is the result and here is the calculation. All I will do is copy this, okay, or you can cut it from here and just call the method do addition. Okay, I'm calling the method do addition. Now I want to go to this method. You have to press control, okay, and then click. See, when I press control, it becomes clickable. So press control, or if you're using Mac, press command and then click on the method name. And there I am. Okay, I will remove this um, comment and paste what I just copied from there. Okay, now I will format it so it's formatted. Now the problem is it doesn't have those values, right? So all I need, like in this method, you don't have these variables. So that's what the error is, that your code within this method cannot find that variable. The thing is, the value 1 and value 2, all of that was created within the main method. So it stays there, right? It's a local variable. Now, here that you cannot access that variable, so you have to create it again. Either you write it directly next to it. Okay. Why did I choose int? Because next int. We're reading integers, right? That's why. And that should be it. So you've done your addition. Now if I go back here, okay, I don't know why it's printing so many times. I don't know if you have to change it into a loop, but anyway, it doesn't say anything about changing it to the loop. It just says you have to rearrange it in that way. Okay, anyway, so I've done the addition already. So I've called the addition if the choice was 1 because 1 has addition. Now for subtraction, it's 2, right? So if the choice was 2, I can call do do subtraction, right? I can call that method because it's subtracting here. So what you can do is, again, copy this code, cut it from here, or copy and then remove, and then call the do subtraction method. Okay, again, I want to, instead of scrolling to the very bottom, if I want to go to that method, I press Control or Command and then click on it, and it takes me to that method. And then just paste that code here again, format it, and then don't forget to create the variables because these are considered as local variables. Okay, again, I go back up. And this third one, if the choice is 3, it will do multiplication. So I just copy that. Okay, remove it. Do multiplication. Call that method here. Go to that method by clicking Command or Control, and then paste that code here. Don't forget to create those variables. Okay. Again, the last one that I need to add for is the division. Again, I remove it. See, if you notice, it's dividing here, right? So here. So basically, just copy it or remove it. Call the do division method. Okay. Command control, click, or command or control, and then click, and then paste it here again with int, int, int. So I've done that 4 times, right? For this section. So if you notice, for my first opportunity, I have to, yeah, for my first opportunity, I did it for addition, for subtraction, multiplication, and division. And notice how it, you know, it what's it called? The code is now smaller. If you notice the second opportunity, for the second opportunity, it starts from line 58 and then it goes until line 100. So almost like 50 lines or something, not 50, 40 lines or something, 42 lines. So, but here it starts from 37 and then it ends at 56. So it's like just half, literally half of, you've reduced your code size by half just by making methods. Now, what we will do is we will now look at what is happening here. You're printing opportunity 1 and then you're printing all this, okay? And if you notice, we're repeating this for every opportunity. You have your addition, all of that, your choice until this. So this part is now repeating. And if you notice, we've completed all the methods. The only one that is left is process choice, right? So for process choice, let's see what it says. You're supposed to display a menu of 4 choices and read the user's selection. Then invoke the method corresponding to the user's selection. So, meaning you have to display the choice in that method and read from the user, all right? And then check which choice the user has selected and based on that call the method. So all this code is what they're referring to. All of this code, remove it, call the process choice method, command or control, and then click, and then put that code here. Okay. Now it doesn't know what choice is, and here choice is basically int, so I can just write int choice and see all the errors are gone because it's a local variable. Now I'm already displaying the 4 choices. I'm asking for the user to enter that choice for me, and then I'm checking which choice it is, and then according to that, I'm calling the methods, right? Now, if we look at the other code, isn't that what is happening again here? Like based on, it's displaying the choice, asking for the choice, and based on the choice, it's calling the methods, right? So if I notice from the second opportunity until the third opportunity, I can remove all of that. Oops. Yes, I can remove all of that and just call process choice because it already has that code there, right? Similarly, for the third opportunity, until the fourth opportunity, I will remove everything. So this is your last chance. I'll remove it, call process choice. And the same with the last. Okay. And I'll keep the thank you for using the system here, all right? Because that's not included, that was not there in process choice. And that is it. Okay. Now I will try to run this program and see if it's working the same way. If it is, then it's fine. Then we can just put it there. But notice what has happened. Initially in Code Runner, if I go back to Code Runner, if I find out how many lines were there in code, initially all your code when I copied it from CodeRunner, it had 259 lines of code. Okay, now it's 113 with the question. So if I remove the question, it should be lesser than that. All right, so see, it's not even 100. So how much of an effect it can have, like almost 160 lines of code or something like that have been reduced just because of using methods, because you're not repeating the code, right? Now here, if you notice the choice, value 1, value 2, result, all of these variables are not really used anymore. So you can just remove them. You don't require them because you're not using there, right? You've already created them in the respective methods. So it should be fine. Now, if I click on run, again, it's working perfectly fine. It shows for me, welcome to Unit 8 Lab. You will have 4 opportunities to choose what calculations to do. The opportunity 1, if I click on, let's say 1 this time, it should give me, okay, I should give it a number. So that's working perfectly fine. It's giving me the addition. Now for subtraction, let's say 2 and 2 should give me 0. Perfect. Multiplication should give me 4, 4, 16. And division should give me 25, 4. And that's it. It was running 4 times. It showed me at the end, thank you for using this program. If I run it once more and I give it like a random number, invalid, you wasted an opportunity. And again, a random, okay, in this case, 3, 4, and then last one, 8. So I feel like it's perfectly fine. It's working perfectly fine. All I'll do is I'll copy the whole code. But remember, if you've created in NetBeans the project, your class name should be Lab 8 EX1. So I select all, I copy this, I go back to go back to CodeRunner, okay, and then I paste it here. I copy all of it, paste it here. One thing, my goodness, it's now 89 lines. Okay. One thing that I want to, because I selected everything, it must have selected the package line for me also. And if you remember, we do not need the package line. So I'll just remove that package line. Okay. And then the rest should be fine. If I click on pre-check, hopefully it works. Let's see. Wow. Okay. So yes, it is working fine. All of it is correct. And I'm happy about that because it was correct on the first try. And that's it for this question. All you had to do was change the scanner as a global variable by moving it outside the main method. Just after class, when you want to create a global variable, wherever you see the class line, just after that, write the variable and don't forget to add the keyword static. The next thing you had to do is figure out which code was doing addition, subtraction, and multiplication and move that code into the respective methods. Add the data types because they're considered as local variables. And then finally, just move the code for the choice here. And then wherever you find that code being used, you can just replace it with that call for the method. And that should be it. So I think that's it for this one. Let's move on to the next question. Now, for the second question, it says you're supposed to create a program which will display a menu as shown below for each option 1 to 4. The program will prompt the user to enter 2 numbers and will either add, subtract, divide, or multiply. The same thing that was happening in the previous question, depending on the menu option selected. Typical output from the program will be shown as below. So you have to display this list: 1, add, 2, subtract, 3, divide, 4, multiply, 5, exit. If you choose 1, let's say in this case add, The program needs to ask the user to enter two numbers. Sorry. It would ask the user to enter two numbers. So in this case, the first number is 10, the second number is 15, and then you have to print out the result 25. The question says that the main method is already already created for you. Your task is basically to create the correct four methods for add, subtract, divide, and multiply. That means that you have to write four methods only. Don't worry about anything else. You need to code them in this particular format. That the add method will receive two int parameters and adds them together and returns. So wherever it says parameters, it will have a parameter. Wherever it says return, that means the method will return something. In this case, it's returning the result. The subtract, divide, and multiply method also work in the similar way, and you have to make sure that before all the four methods, just like every other method that we've written, you have to add public and static. All right, now this is your basically the test. You have to print out this list. If the user presses 5, then you just exit the program saying goodbye. Otherwise, you keep asking them for numbers to calculate whatever they've chosen for. All right, and that should be it. So I'll code this in NetBeans and then we'll paste it here and see how we're supposed to code it. Sorry, how it should, is it fine or not? All right. Or I think it's best to create it here because the question is the methods are really small. I don't think it's required to be created in NetBeans. But if you want to create it in NetBeans, that's up to you. I'll just do it directly here. So the first method is basically add, and they told us to add public static, right? So I will just write public static first. Now for add, we know that it is returning something, right? So we know it's because it's receiving two int parameters and it's adding them, the result will also be int. So if you're returning the result, that means you're returning a type int, right? So int will be your return type. The name of the method is add, and you have two int parameters as well. So int, let's say num1, and then int num2. Okay, I can literally write return num1 plus num2. That will be my answer for the first question. And similarly, I can just copy this whole thing, paste it here, and change it to subtraction, and just copy the method name subtract and just put it here. The same thing for multiplication and the same thing for division. The only thing I need to change is the symbol, the symbols, right? So sorry, not the symbols, the operators. So here again, all of the other situations, like for example, if the user presses exit, all of that is handled by the main method, which is already written for you. All right, so all you needed to do was create these four methods. So sorry, this is going to be divide. Okay, and then this is going to be multiply. Let's click on pre-check. Hopefully it works. Okay, perfect. So this is the error here. The method name is shown as capital A, but in the answer, it's trying to find small a, right? If you notice, it's written add, and then if it's written subtract with a small s, multiply with a small m, and divide with a small d, I'll change that in either the question. Yeah, I think I'll change it in the question so it matches the result. So add, subtract, multiply, divide. Recheck. Wonderful. So it's working fine now. Let's click on check. And there you go. So that's the second question. And with this, we've come to the end of first lab under Unit 8, which is 8A. I hope this was clear. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I think that's it for this video.